It was definitely stressful. It was, in terms of the academic load, it was more than I was accustomed to. But I think I handled that fine. My adjustments were more on the residential side than the academic side. It was like living with other people and like learning how to get along and all of that. So it was kind of getting a head start on college, I felt like.
I came from Bentonville High School, and I felt like at the time that there were limited science course offerings. That was what I was most interested in, and I felt like doubling up on them each year that I would end up exhausting the options. And I saw all of the elective offerings offered here, and it seemed like there was just a buffet. I could never eat all of it. So I decided to come here.
My home school was Bentonville High School. Good school, great educational opportunities, but a bit of a factory high school. There were over 2,000 students at Bentonville High when I went there. It had not yet split. So it was easy to get lost in the crowd and to feel like a number. And so I became interested in ASMSA largely due to the small class sizes and the interesting courses that I could take, put it on my radar. I visited, I shadowed, spent the night, and was impressed with everything I saw. So I came to ASMSA for the educational opportunities and also the chance to be with my peers, students who want to go to schools, students who are interested in learning and motivated and a little nerdy. And so I certainly found my peers here.
It certainly helped me get my foot in the door. The fact that I was a student here, like when I interviewed for my position, the chair of the department at the time was my high school pre-cal teacher. And I remember her telling me later that like after I interviewed, she went down to get my permanent record because she had told the committee, like, if he didn't make an A in my class, like, we're not going to hire him.
So it really shaped the course of my life. It influenced what I chose in terms of my college options, the offers that were given to me. I chose one that gave me the opportunity to work in a lab my first year as part of the offer package, the acceptance letter.
It was a huge opportunity. Again, I think ASMSA in many ways liberated me to become who I am, to find myself. I'm not sure. I think I'd be a very different person, quite frankly, if I hadn't attended ASMSA. And it shaped me too because I was in those small classes, right? I wasn't in a class with 45, I was in a class with 15. And so a lot was demanded of me in terms of reading, in particular reading, and homework and writing. But that also gave me a chance to speak out and have my voice be heard, have a relationship with my teacher, know how my fellow students felt about anything, whether it was a Shakespeare play or political debate. So it was a very intimate, supportive academic environment that I think is very hard to replicate elsewhere.
Getting the new dorm building was the most important aspect of like sort of continuing our growth.
I think for the students coming in, it's really hard to imagine being able to work with professional adults, and they soon find that they actually have a lot to contribute. The National Park Service, for example, especially Hot Springs National Park, is severely understaffed. So sometimes they only really have one or two scientists on staff, and so the students also bring all sorts of ideas to the table and things that they want to explore. And sometimes they're things that the park management actually never thought of. So sometimes the park management can kind of set priorities and our students can design projects, and sometimes the other way around. Our students kind of lead and find things that then park management finds interesting and can pursue further. So it's a really nice interplay. And when students get to go to labs around the state in order to do their analyses and be exposed to those labs, I think they can better see themselves actually in those labs. It sort of demystifies it. You know, they actually get to work with that equipment. And so that's something I think they can kind of almost see themselves in grad school already, because a lot of the students that are around them, you know, work in the lab are grad students. So I think it's incredibly important for them to get that exposure.
It's changed wildly. In fact, I kind of feel like there are two ASMSAs. There's the old ASMSA campus that I'm familiar with, which is the hospital complex that is slowly being replaced by the new modern ASMSA, right? Students have relatively new dorms, which are fantastic. No living in the old hospital. We have the brand new CIC academic building, right? We have the new administration building. So it's almost an entirely new campus. And I think that benefits students directly in the classroom, right? Whether that's technologies that are available to them. The arts program, my gosh, the arts and music programs have ballooned and taken off since my time here. And I think a lot of that has to do with the expansion of the campus. So the opportunities afforded students have grown alongside the campus as the campus modernizes, and it's been exciting to see. It gives me a lot of faith and excitement about the next 30 years of ASMSA's story.